Hello, how are you? Let's study Hangul together. This is the introduction video of my Wangchobo Hangul reading practice through Konglish videos. So yes, welcome. And Wang is the absolute, Chobo is beginner. If you are an absolute beginner with Hangul, well, actually, this video isn't quite for you. You should know a bit of Hangul before you start. But once you are practicing, if you are still kind of a chobo and practicing your Korean, reading Hangul, this video is going to be for you. Sometimes reading Korean words in Korean in the Hangul, this can be difficult for you learners of Korean. That is because, well, it's a completely different writing system compared to what you are used to. And why then am I using Konglish? Well, Konglish is Korean style English. So in this case, we are using words that are English in nature, but they are written in Hangul. And so this will give you some basic familiarity and it will make it a little bit easier to work with this Konglish. I am trying to give you a nice little easier, softer introduction into reading it. So by using Konglish only focus, it's yeah, I'll throw in some actual Korean in there a little bit, but the focus is the Konglish. For some of our reading practice with Hangul, it can be a fun puzzle to solve because you're trying to figure out what it means. But also, it will be helpful to get familiar with our good old Hangul letters, the letters we will call 글자. So, another thing from this video, you might meet some Korean people who have not yet polished their English pronunciation, which for pronunciation, we would say 발음 in Korean. So these Korean folks, they maybe don't have the most accurate of English pronunciation. And when you are studying this Konglish, this practice can help you to understand why our Korean friends might pronounce some of these English sounds differently than a native English speaker would. And forgive me if my pronunciation, my parum is weird. I have lived abroad too long. So things to be aware of. Yes, you should be aware of some things as we are studying. First, one letter does not, again, does not equal one sound. What that means is you can have one letter, for example, in English, the letter S, if we say, that is a s sound, right? But what about the word rose? Here, the letter is S, yes, but the sound is z. So even though it is one letter, it does not only have one sound. So do not be surprised when we have multiple sounds for one letter. Same thing in Korean. That is the exact same concept. One letter does not always equal one sound, even in Hangul. And now, this exercise of reading Konglish can be helpful, yes, but you should also not let your brain be lazy. Don't let yourself just think of the English. You want to be focusing on the Hangul and the Korean pronunciation of this Hangul, not the English word. So that means you must zero in on what sound that the good old Hangul is making that you are reading. Try to mimic, try to copy the sounds that I am making so that you can sound like a Korean who is reading Hangul. You are going to be reading Konglish words written in Hangul, but you want to sound like a Korean. And next, so letters in English and letters in Hangul don't function the same. Kind of like before, number one, in English, you have the one letter in English might have different sounds. But one thing you need to understand is Hangul letters are similar. But of course, the letters are different because we have our Roman letters and Hangul has Hangul letters. So 한국어, Korean language, has Hangul letters. They are not just different in the way they look, but they don't function the exact same way, even if they are similar. So even if the letters are similar, they are not the same. You must remember this. So they will change and behave differently in different situations. So, yeah, when people they speak words that they see written on a paper. So they're speaking those words out loud that they see on a paper, then those words those words can sound different than how those words are written. So this is the same both in English and in Korean. Written words will sound different when said because we can't perfectly mimic or represent sound. So let's give you a quick example in English. So we write what, well, yeah, generally you could say nobody but you. And yeah, yeah, that's somewhat accurate. But if somebody starts speaking quickly, then you'll get a few sound changes. Maybe most notably, it will be something like but you, nobody but you. But we don't write Buchyuu. We just write Butyou. So understand that even though it is written this way, the sound that you will hear will be more like this, the but you. And nobody but you. Now for Korean, here is an example. We have 몇 학년, but just because it's written as 몇 학년 doesn't mean it's said that way. This guy down here is going to be like a digut sound, a Korean letter digut, that will combine with this hiet, and then what we get is actually kind of a myo, and then we have the tiet, so that becomes a tiet sound. Then we got this kiok on the bottom. This guy, when he hangs out with this nian, they become friends and they change the way he sounds. So we go to an iung. This here, the kiok changes to an iung sound, and then this nian stays the same. So this will be like this. So what we've got is this is the way it's written, and the way we say it is going to be like this. So we have 며 탕년, 몇 학년, 몇 학년. So 몇 학년 becomes, when we actually say it out loud, 몇 학년, 몇 학년. Oh, what a tangled web we weave. Okay, well, thank you for working through this first introductory video on learning Hangul through Konglish with me. Next, we need to do a quick lesson on the names of the letters, the Hangul's letter names. Yes, the idiom, because I'm going to be using these idiom of the Hangul kulcha, the Hangul letters, as I go about the videos that I am going to be teaching Konglish Hangul with. So you should be familiar with this. If you are not, then please go to the next video that I will have in this series. And if you already are quite familiar with this, then you can skip straight to the practice videos. And thank you for watching. Of course, you can always like and subscribe. Oh my gosh, I feel so hojape. But yes, I look forward to providing more content for you, and we'll see you in the next video.